Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our basic 3D modeling. So we're going to go ahead and click the down arrow, click Part. Okay. Okay, so the way you do 3D modeling in Inventor is that you make a 2D sketch and then you base a 3D feature on that 2D sketch. Okay. So that's kind of the concept that we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is going to create a 2D sketch. So we click Start 2D Sketch, click on a plane. Okay, let's just do the most basic thing we can do. We're going to make a rectangular solid. Okay, so we click on Rectangle, click, move the mouse, click. We're going to dimension our rectangle, right? So we click the dimensioning tool, click, move the mouse, click. We're going to make this a 1x2 rectangle. Okay, we're still in the dimensioning tool. I click, move it out, click. And we're going to make it 2 inches. Click the green check. I zoom all to make sure I've zoomed. Okay, so now I have this rectangle. Now let's say I also want to make a circle inside. So let's go ahead and do a circle. So click, move the mouse, click, right click, OK. Now I'm going to dimension this circle. So I know this is 2 inches. I want the circle to be 1 inch. Actually, I'm sorry, let's make it 0.5 inches. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and then we're going to do dimension. Okay, click. We can actually click the circle, click the line up top, and now we get a dimension here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click the green arrow. All right. Now we're going to do another dimension. So we're going to click on the circle and we're going to click to the bottom. Now all I want is I want these two dimensions to be related to each other. All right. And what I can do with dimensions, I click Accept. Okay. What I can do with dimensions, I can double click on this and I can make this dimension. Whoop. Okay, this is D4. I want to make this dimension, since it's a driven dimension, I can go ahead and make this one D4 times 2. Okay? See how I made it D4 times 2? So this was a driven dimension, right? D4. It won't let me change it. All right? But I went in and I made the thing that is constricting it, right? This D3. I made it into an equation, right? So I did D4, that's a reference to the name of this other dimension. See right here, edit dimension colon D3, this is D4. And I multiplied it by 2, okay? All right, so there we're kind of messing around with these dimensions, right? But it's a lot easier than figuring out, you know, what is some value, right? All right, so we have our circle. We also need to go ahead and dimension it from here, right? From the side. I'm gonna click that. I'm going to click it to the other side, right, just to lock it in. Okay. We accept that it's a driven dimension. See that it's in parentheses. I'm going to go ahead and click the original one. So we have D5 and we got D6, right? So what I'm going to do in D5 is I'm just going to put D6, okay, because I want it equal, right? I hit Enter, and now those two dimensions are the same. Okay, so when you're thinking dimensions, I'm going to get out of the dimensioning tool now. When you're thinking dimensions, don't think numbers, think equations, right? Or not equations, but mathematical functions, right? Okay, so we have our basic shape here. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to do a couple weird things. Not weird things. I'm going to go ahead and chamfer 2 sides just for fun, just on whatever the default value is. I'm also going to go ahead and fillet the 2 sides. So I'm going to fillet these 2 things right here. I'm going to click X. When I'm finished with this sketch, I'm going to go ahead and click Finish Sketch. Okay, so my computer glitched there. So basically I was inside this sketch, right? So this is where we were at. And I clicked Finish Sketch. And so basically what that did was, if you notice on the browser now, I'm outside of sketch mode. So Inventor has 2 modes. One is sketch mode. That's where I'm doing my 2D sketch. And now I'm in 3D mode, right? That's like the standard mode. Okay, if I want to get back in and edit my sketch, I can double click the sketch I want to edit, which in this case is sketch 1. And I could go back in and I could edit it. Okay? Let's say I wanted to make this not 2 inches, but I wanted to make it 3 inches. All right. Now notice when I changed that, because I made these other dimensions to be mathematical functions, it automatically adjusted, right? So right click, Finish 2D Sketch. or I can go up and click Finish 2D Sketch. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do my 3D feature, which in this case is an extrude. Okay, so I'm going to click on Extrude. Now, Autodesk has this kind of heads-up display here. It's also contained inside this menu. Okay, so you notice that this little window appears up here, but also this heads-up display. You can use either one. Now, you have a couple of options, right? So the first option is, do we want to join, cut, or intersect, right? Okay, the second option is the direction. Okay, we also have solid or surface output, all right? So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to select an area, all right? And it gives us kind of a preview. Now I can do, in this case, we have a new solid. So Inventor's smart enough to know that this is the first solid, so we can't join, cut, or intersect. It's just a new solid, that's it, okay? Now we can go ahead and say what direction we want. So let's say we want it 0.5 inches thick. And we can also say around this plane that we selected, right? So we've selected the 2D sketch, it lives on a plane. We can say that we want our sketch in the middle. We can say we want it on one side, or we can say we want it on the other. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and leave the default. We click the green check, and now we have our extrusion, right? So that's our extrusion right there. All right, so that is in this most basic form 3D modeling in Inventor. Let's take the extrude one step further. Okay, so in this case we're going to take a sketch. A sketch can live on that original, when we do the original 2D sketch, how we choose a plane. Well, it can also live on any face. Notice how these are highlighting. It can't live on, notice how that curved area doesn't highlight. It can live on any flat surface. So let's go ahead and we're going to select this flat surface right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a slot, okay? And we're going to click, drag, click. Okay. We're going to create a slot right there. Okay, right click, okay. All right. And we can go ahead and dimension this if we want. So we want that slightly less. Okay. Let's say we want this slightly more. Okay. All right, right click OK, and we can go ahead and move this slot wherever we choose. All right. Okay, so we have our slot. Now we're going to right click and finish 2D sketch. Now we're going to use the Extrude tool. Can make material. It can also cut material. Okay, so notice now, because there's only one available sketch. Okay, so I did that kind of fast. Let's go back in here. We're going to cancel. We're going to get back into sketch 2. Okay, notice when I created that new sketch, notice that on our browser we have Extrusion 1, which has inside it Sketch 1. Now we've made Sketch 2, and that's what we're in right now. Okay. Now notice that if I click on, if I highlight over Sketch 2, it shows me all the lines that are in Sketch 2. All right. So now we're going to click Finish Sketch. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to actually use Extrude to Cut. Okay. So I click Extrude. It automatically selects the only available area in the only available sketch. See how there's only one sketch here available? That's Sketch 2. Okay? And there's only one area inside Sketch 2, so it automatically selects it. Okay, in some cases it wouldn't automatically select it. If there was more than one area or more than one sketch, it would not automatically select. So we're going to go ahead and click the down arrow. Okay, in this case we're going to make a cut. Okay? And notice that we have some options here. The cut can be 0.5 inches. The cut can also be through all. It can be to next face or body. Okay, so we have a lot of different options there. All right. If we don't know how thick this is going to get, say we might want to change the thickness later on, it might be a good idea to do to next face or body. Okay, that might be a good idea. Okay, and then we can choose the face, right? Okay, we click sorry, we didn't choose the face, but we just click the green check. And there we have our hole. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the Extrude tool one more time. Okay, notice that we want to create. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's say that we decided we made a mistake, right? We don't want this extrusion. Let's say we only want the extrusion to go part way through. All right, we could double click the extrusion and edit it. Right, we could go distance and say, oh, it's 0.4 or 0.3. Okay. We could also right click on this extrusion and delete it. And we can say, oh, uncheck consume sketches, and what we get is we just get our sketch back. Okay, so let's extrude again. We're going to cut. In this case, we are going to go to next face or body, and we're going to click the check. All right, so let's do one last extrusion, and we're going to go ahead and put a sketch right on the side here. Okay, so notice that I put a sketch. Notice where my plane is. I can kind of move it around and see where that plane is. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make kind of a arcing shape here, right? Okay, like that. We're also going to go into line, and we're just going to create a spline. Okay, so we're going to click on spline. Okay, notice that it's giving me kind of this arcing shape. Okay, and I double clicked. All right, now I'm just doing, notice that that is not a useful shape, right? But I'm just doing this for an example. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and right click and do finish sketch. Now I have this shape right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go extrude. Okay, notice how I get the extrusion. It selects the only available shape on the only available sketch, right? Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do intersection. Now notice what happens, and then I'm going to go to next face or body. Okay. Now notice what happens. It gives me this preview, right? So intersection, while cut takes away material, creates material, intersection only leaves the material where two different extrusions intersect. So notice we can get this kind of nice organic shape out of just using extrusion. Okay, so extrusion really is very, very, very useful. You can make a lot of very interesting stuff using just 2D sketching and extrusion. Okay, good luck.